Imagine this: a crowded subway car, the sound of metal grinding against rails, the faint buzz of commuters lost in their own worlds. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the chatter, a sharp, mocking laugh aimed at someone who never asked for the spotlight. That girl, quiet and new to the city, kept her eyes low, clutching a worn backpack like it was her only shield. And then, in just seconds, a silence swept the car when someone rose to their feet, and everything changed. If you're ready to hear the kind of story that makes your heart pound and your soul believe in justice, stick with me until the end, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because what happens next is unforgettable. It was a rainy evening in New York, the kind that paints the subway windows with streaks of gray. Emma, a small-town girl who had just moved to the city for college, stepped into the subway carrying the weight of her insecurities. Everything about her screamed, new: her thrift store shoes, the way she kept glancing at the route map, the shy way she tried to blend into the corner seat. She was excited but scared, carrying the hope her parents had placed in her when they scraped together money to send her here. That's when he noticed her. Brandon, the kind of boy who was born into wealth, his designer jacket dripping with arrogance, his friends circling him like satellites. He lived for attention, and mocking others was his favorite game. His laughter rang out across the car as he nudged his friends. "Look at her shoes," he sneered loudly, pointing right at Emma. "Did you steal those off a scarecrow?" His friends howled, some passengers glanced away, pretending not to hear, while others smirked nervously, unwilling to intervene. Emma froze. Her face turned crimson, eyes stinging as she looked down, wishing the ground would swallow her. She had dealt with bullies back in her hometown, but this felt bigger, harsher, and so public. Every word was a dagger, cutting into her sense of belonging. She tightened her grip on her bag, fighting the tears that threatened to fall. Brandon wasn't finished. "Oh wait, don't tell me, you're lost, little farm girl. Subway's not a petting zoo. Maybe you should go back to milking cows." His friends roared again, enjoying the spectacle. Emma's heart pounded, her spirit shrinking with every taunt. She whispered to herself, "Just stay quiet. It'll be over soon." But fate had a different plan. In the corner of the car sat a man in plain clothes, silent and observant. He wasn't flashy, he didn't draw attention. He looked like any other tired commuter, sitting with a calm, unreadable face. But what no one knew, not Brandon, not his friends, not even Emma, was that this man was Jake, Emma's cousin. And Jake wasn't just anyone, he was part of the city's elite SWAT team. He had spent years training to protect people, to face danger head-on, and now, watching his cousin shrink under the cruel spotlight, he felt a fire ignite inside him. Jake stood. The sudden motion pulled the air from the room. The subway car, once filled with mocking laughter, grew quiet. Brandon's smirk faltered, unsure why this stranger had risen. Jake walked slowly, each step deliberate, his eyes locked on Brandon. He didn't need a uniform, didn't need weapons, the weight of his presence was enough. "You think you're funny." Jake's voice was calm, controlled, but carried the steel of authority. "You think humiliating a young woman makes you stronger. Let me tell you something, kid. Strength isn't about tearing someone down. It's about lifting them up when they feel small." Brandon scoffed nervously, but his friends had already stopped laughing. The entire car was watching, some even pulling out their phones. Jake leaned in just slightly, his eyes narrowing. "I've faced men with weapons, men who didn't care if I lived or died. And you're just a spoiled boy with too much money and too little heart. If you want to pick on someone, pick on me." The silence that followed was heavy, electric. Brandon's bravado crumbled. For the first time, he looked around and saw no approval in the faces of the passengers. Some were glaring, others nodding at Jake's words. The audience he once owned had turned against him. Emma looked up, her chest tightening with a mix of shock and gratitude. Her cousin hadn't just defended her, he had reminded her that she wasn't alone. She had spent so much time believing she had to fight her battles in silence, but here was proof that sometimes, someone would rise for you. Brandon mumbled something under his breath, motioning for his friends to get off at the next stop. They stumbled out, their laughter replaced with shame. The doors closed, and the car erupted, not in chaos but in quiet applause. A few commuters smiled at Emma, one woman whispering, "Don't let people like that get to you." Jake sat back down beside her, his expression softening. "You okay?" he asked gently. Emma nodded, tears spilling now, not from humiliation, but from relief. I didn't know you were here, she whispered. I promised your mom I'd look out for you, Jake said with a faint smile. But more than that, you need to know, you belong here. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. The train rattled on, but for Emma, something shifted. That night, she realized she wasn't just the new girl anymore. She was someone who had endured, someone who had people who believed in her, someone who could face the world without bowing her head. And as for Brandon, word spread fast. The video captured on someone's phone made its way online, and the boy who had once mocked others now became a lesson, a cautionary tale of arrogance meeting humility. By the time Emma reached her stop, she walked out of the subway with her head held high. The city lights no longer felt intimidating, but inviting. She knew challenges would come, but she also knew she carried a strength inside her, and the love of those who would stand for her when she faltered. So if you take anything from this story, let it be this: kindness and courage will always outshine cruelty. And when you see someone being torn down, don't stay silent, stand up. You might just change their life in that one moment. If this story touched your heart, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Because stories like this remind us of who we can be, better, braver, and stronger together.